live at 3 a.m. But while I'm sitting there gaming, Trump decides, let's go to war with Iran. Ah, boy, oh boy, oh boy. I was kind of thinking this wasn't going to happen, dude. I really thought the moment for this passed, but apparently not.
A short time ago, the United States military began major combat operations in Iran.
What's up, everybody? Let's see if this even goes out to anybody.
Our objective is to defend the American people by eliminating imminent threats from the Iranian regime, a vicious group of very hard, terrible people. Its menacing activities directly endanger the United States, our troops, our bases overseas.
All right, let's. I don't even know. Right now, it's showing me like nobody's watching this. So, yeah. All right, fine. Yeah, now it's finally showing people watching. Okay, so let me let it build up a little bit, and then we'll play Trump's message. Looks like we're doing regime change in Iran. Looks like what Trump's looking for is to basically take out the Iranian regime and have a little revolution in Iran and have the people take over. These things always turn out so well, huh? I'm just going to get this out of the way. I'm not for this. I've been against regime change in Iran. However, it's happening. I have no control. I can't stop it. So I'm going to hope for the best. I'm going to hope that things go as good as they possibly can. All right, we got some people in here. Let's play Trump's message. Hello, everybody.
A short time ago, the United States military began major combat operations in Iran. Our objective is to defend the American people by eliminating imminent threats from the Iranian regime, a vicious group of very hard, terrible people. Its menacing activities directly endanger the United States, our troops, our bases overseas, and our allies throughout the world. For 47 years, the Iranian regime has chanted death to America and waged an unending campaign.
By the way, yeah, just a couple of days ago, there was all these new videos of them screaming death to America. It's like, yeah, that's a good way to avoid war, Iran.
Of bloodshed and mass murder, targeting the United States, our troops, and the innocent people in many, many countries. Among the regime's very first acts was to back a violent takeover of the U.S. Embassy in Tehran, holding dozens of American hostages for 444 days.
Yeah, I have the live streams pulled up. The sirens... Sounds like the sirens have stopped. But yeah, there's just been sirens in Israel. Somebody was mentioning Iran retaliating. I think there's a lot of missile warnings in Israel, but I haven't seen anything hit yet, but I might have missed it.
In 1983, Iran's proxies carried out the Marine barracks bombing in Beirut that killed 241 American military personnel. In 2000, they knew and were probably involved with the attack on the USS Cole. Many died. Iranian forces killed and maimed hundreds of American service members in Iraq. The regime's proxies have continued to launch countless attacks against American forces stationed in the Middle East in recent years, as well as U.S. naval and commercial vessels in international shipping lanes. It's been mass terror, and we're not going to put up with it any longer. From Lebanon to Yemen and Syria to Iraq, the regime has armed, trained, and funded terrorist militias that have soaked the earth with blood and guts. And it was Iran's proxy, Hamas, that launched the monstrous October 7th attacks on Israel, slaughtering more than 1,000 innocent people, including 46 Americans, while taking 12 of our citizens hostage. It was brutal, something like the world has never seen before. Iran is the world's #1 state sponsor of terror and just recently killed tens of thousands of its own citizens on the street as they protested. It has always been the policy of the United States, in particular, my administration, that this terrorist regime can never have a new...
At Crumpulus super chatted $10. I think Trump officially screws JD's run for prez in 2028 with this and the bunker busting. Thanks
Yeah,
Bibi Netanyahu. This is so stupid.
yeah, I can't disagree, dude. I do think this is not going to be popular.
Nuclear weapon.
I mean, unless it's like fucking flawless, it's like the Venezuela strike where like everything just goes perfectly, and in a couple of days nobody's talking about it, and we got to like, I mean, it has to go fucking perfect. But there's going to be people that are going to be unhappy no matter what.
I'll say it again. They can never have a nuclear weapon. That is why in Operation Midnight Hammer last June, we obliterated the regime's nuclear program at Fordow, Natanz, and Isfahan. After that attack, we warned them never to resume their malicious pursuit of nuclear weapons, and we sought repeatedly to make a deal. We tried. They wanted to do it. They didn't want to do it. Again, they wanted to do it. They didn't want to do it. They didn't know what was happening. They just wanted to practice evil. But Iran refused, just as it has for decades and decades. They've rejected every opportunity to renounce their nuclear ambitions, and we can't take it anymore. Instead, they attempted to rebuild their nuclear program and to continue developing long-range missiles that can now threaten our very good friends and allies in Europe, our troops stationed overseas, and could soon reach the American homeland. Just imagine how emboldened this regime would be if they ever had and actually were armed with nuclear weapons as a means to deliver their message. For these reasons, the United States military is undertaking a massive and ongoing operation to prevent this very wicked, radical dictatorship from threatening America and our core national security interests. We are going to destroy their missiles and raise their missile industry to the ground. It will be totally, again, obliterated. We're going to annihilate their Navy. We're going to ensure that the region's terrorist proxies can no longer destabilize the region or the world and attack our forces and no longer use their IEDs or roadside bombs, as they are sometimes called, to so gravely wound and kill.
We're going back to the Iraq war with that one. Yeah, Iran was responsible for a lot of American deaths in Iraq, but like the Iraq war's over.
Thousands and thousands of people, including many Americans, and we will ensure that Iran does not obtain a nuclear weapon. It's a very simple message. They will never have.
I thought you destroyed their capability already.
This regime will soon learn that no one should challenge the strength and might of the United States Armed Forces. I built and rebuilt our military in my first administration, and there is no military on earth even close to its power, strength, or sophistication. My administration has taken every possible step to minimize the risk to U.S. personnel in the region. Even so, and I do not make this statement lightly, the Iranian regime seeks to kill. The lives of courageous American heroes may be lost, and we may have casualties. That often happens in war. But we're doing this not for now. We're doing this for the future, and it is a noble mission. We pray for every service member as they selflessly risk their lives to ensure that Americans and our children will never be threatened by a nuclear-armed Iran. We ask God to protect all of our heroes in harm's way, and we trust that, with his help, the men and women of the armed forces will prevail. We have the greatest in the world, and they will prevail. To the members of the Islamic Revolutionary Guard, the armed forces, and all of the police, I say tonight that you must lay down your weapons and have complete immunity, or, in the alternative, face certain death. So, lay down your arms. You will be treated fairly with total immunity, or you will face certain death. Finally, to the great proud people of Iran, I say tonight that the hour of your freedom is at hand. Stay sheltered. Don't leave your home. It's very dangerous outside. Bombs will be dropping everywhere. When we are finished, take over your government. It will be yours to take. This will be probably your only chance for generations. For many years, you have asked for America's help, but you never got it. No president was willing to do what I am willing to do tonight. Now you have a president who is giving you what you want. So let's see how you respond. America is...
Yeah, I've got some clips. We got bases being hit, apparently. I haven't seen the clips. I'm just getting them together right now. But I figured we start with this.
...is backing you with overwhelming strength and devastating force. Now is the time to seize control.
Yeah, Iran's not going to be... It's not... You can't take it lightly. There's how many? What is 100-something million people in Iran?
Control of your destiny.
It's probably not going to be easy and simple. I hope it is, though.
Unleash the prosperous and glorious future that is close within your reach. This is the moment for action. Do not let it pass. May God bless the brave men and women of America's armed forces. May God bless the United States of America. May God...
Are we putting troops on the ground? Because I think that's the big thing is like, oh, well, it's not going to be like Iraq because we're not putting troops on the ground. We're just going to like blow up, all of the places of power and allow the Iranian people to take over. Let's see if I can pull this off here. All right, here's some stuff that was just coming through here. Not in any particular order. There's a lot of, again, it's who knows if this is propaganda, but there's a lot of clips of like Iranians celebrating, right? And by the way, I have to add, this is happening in real time, some of these might be repurposed videos from a different, you know what I mean? Like, you know how it is on X. Like 50% is real, the other 50% is somebody using a video from another fucking time period and pretending it has to do with now so it can go viral. But yeah, apparently celebrating. Far's news agency confirms Iranian ballistic missiles attacks on 4 U.S. bases in the region. Al-Adid Air Base in Qatar, Ali Al Salam Air Base in Kuwait, Ali Dafra Air Base in the UAE, the U.S. 5th Fleet Base in Bahrain. New U.S. Navy 5th Fleet headquarters in Bahrain directly struck by Iranian missile attack, per AP. So that's U.S. Navy 5th Fleet headquarters in Bahrain. However the fuck you say that. Wonderful. So yeah, some of the missiles are getting through, clearly. At least that one did. The regime in Iran is now bombing U.S. bases, Bahrain, Kuwait, UAE, and Qatar. Yeah, so that's after the fact. You can see the smoke plume. Footage shows Iran a missile attack on U.S. Navy in Bahrain. We saw this, maybe a different angle.
Missile threat warning.
Yeah.
Target shelter immediately. Shelter in place. Missile threat warning. Target shelter.
That looks like a pretty big bomb. Let's pray everybody's okay. U.S. military base in Bahrain reportedly targeted. Yeah, this is
Missile threat warning.
what we just saw. More strikes on Israel. This is an image. And yeah, that's what we just saw. I think this is news. Let's see if it comes out. Yeah, NBC News right here. Let's see what NBC News is saying.
And see how things develop. So I wish I could tell you that there was just one...
Yeah, Bahrain state media, Iran targets U.S. 5th Fleet with missile attack.
Circumstance, one set of rules that always applies.
So they're shooting back.
This is a rapidly developing situation. We don't even know exactly how expansive this war is at the moment. There are many, at this stage, unconfirmed reports of explosions, air raid sirens. at multiple locations in multiple countries all across the Middle East.
So yeah, apparently dozens of ballistic missiles launched towards Israel right now.
What is clear, what we can confirm, based on what President Trump has said, based on what we're
This is
seeing,
Jerusalem,
based
this
on
is
what
Tel Aviv.
Iran is saying, that this is the start of a broad campaign aimed to weaken the Iranian government, the Iranian regime, to a point that the Iranian people are able, in theory at least, to take matters into their own hands, go to the streets, and topple their government. That appears to be this war's objective. Far easier said than done, just bombing and then hoping that the people will replace the government is an incredibly risky strategy. But that seems to be the war that we are entering in right now, and a war, like I said, that has already spread at least to Bahrain, Kuwait, reporting air raid sirens there too. So a war that just hours after it is launched is spreading across the region.
Yes, a goal of regime change that does appear to be taking shape to become a regional war. Richard Engel, thank you. Let's go back to senior national security correspondent Courtney Kube. Courtney, you have some new reporting for us.
Yeah, we are tracking. You know, you were just talking to Richard about the these sirens and warnings now. The U.S. Embassy in Bahrain is warning of imminent drone and missile attacks. And a U.S. official is telling us now that Iran is attempting to retaliate against multiple U.S. facilities and military assets across the Middle East and throughout.
Yeah, shit is happening pretty fast here. Again, I'm not able to vet every one of these videos as I pull them up, so I'm not sure. But DD Geopolitics seems to be on the money. Let's see what these are. This is from Abu Dhabi. Yeah, those look like some big bombs. Yeah, people trying to get to safety. Let's hope very few civilians, innocent people get killed, but that rarely happens in situations like this. Did I pull that up twice? Video shows this is another angle of the missile hitting the U.S. Navy's 5th Fleet headquarters in Bahrain. This one's kind of wild. Okay. Yeah, that's terrifying. Oh my god. I hope it's worth it, bro. I hope it's worth it. Breaking U.S. military officials now estimate Iran strikes may extend for weeks. From the New York Times. New attacks are being reported in Tehran. In the initial wave, strikes reportedly targeted Iran's parliament, the Supreme National Security Council, the Ministry of Intelligence, and the Atomic Energy Organization of Iran. But yeah. Okay. Okie dokie. Guys, yeah. Shit is coming in really quick right now, so I'm going to keep looking for new clips, new footage. And we'll check. Somebody told me, where did I have it here? Did I close it? The Enforcer? I guess I closed it. Somebody told me the Enforcer does good reporting. Let's check him out real quick. I'm going to look for some new clips. This is the Enforcer. Let me subscribe. So it sounds familiar.
Well, inside of Tehran and Qom. Then about 3 hours
Yeah,
ago,
we're going to be
at
here
this
for a
point,
while,
3.5
so
actually,
smash the thumbs
we
up.
then saw
It's appreciated.
that the capital
Also,
of
if you
Iran,
want to support the show,
Islamic
links are in the
Republic of Iran's capital,
description.
Tehran, was then hit by a large
All that
number
good
of
stuff.
air-fired,
Super chats are open
cruise
if you want to
missiles
support
and
the show
also,
that way.
ship-fired
Much love,
cruise
everybody.
missiles as well in the form of the Tomahawks. These ended up wiping out most of the government officials within Tehran, or at least most of them as they could, within the first opening minutes of the conflict, and then we were able to hear not long after
I'm gonna go back and hear it because he sounds like
we
this
also
is good
saw
news.
that earlier on in the middle of the show, we actually saw that I think it's the Tanker Airlift Command Center based out of Indiana actually gave notice to the airmen of the Air Force, specifically those in the strategic airlift, that they needed to minimize ground time and hurry it up. And we said that that was probably preparing for strikes to happen this weekend. We didn't know that it was literally going to happen within hours after that. But we saw that happening. We then saw that there were jets over the skies of Iraq. We hadn't seen them conduct strikes yet, but we had seen fires breaking out inside of Iran and, inside of Tehran and Qom. Then about 3 hours ago at this point, 3.5 actually, we then saw that the capital of Iran, the Islamic Republic of Iran's capital, Tehran, was then hit by a large number of air-fired cruise missiles and also ship-fired cruise missiles as well in the form of the Tomahawks. These ended up wiping out most of the government officials within Tehran, or at least most of them as they could, within the first opening minutes of the conflict, and then we were able to hear not long after that thousands of IRGC officers and officials had also been killed within the opening minutes by the strikes as well. Khamenei is running around the country right now. We don't know where he's at, but he's trying to apparently move around enough that he can't be hit easily. And we also been able to hear that the U.S. and Israeli governments are attempting to go for a complete regime change and a government overthrow inside of Iran. Reza Pahlavi, who is generally the opposition leader of Iran, also popped in and stated that it's time for the Iranian people to rise up and take back their country from the Islamic Republic's regime. We've also been able to see that afterwards, the U.S. has started to conduct suppression of enemy air defense activities, further second and third wave strikes against the Iranians, and also the Iranian Navy has been taking, from what we would guess, healthy slamming down there in the area of the Strait of Hormuz, the Gulf of Oman, and the Persian Gulf, but we really can't confirm that yet. Finally, after all of that happened, the Iranians started to fire a counterattack at everybody. And we thought it was just Israel at the start in the U.S. Now it turns out to be literally everybody. So the Iranians started to fire off missiles at Israel. Then they started to fire off missiles at Bahrain, which has just gotten an ass smacking at this point. Like, their air defense is basically non-existent, sadly. Sorry for them. I mean, like, they're an ally of the United States. It's unfortunate to hear. But they are absolutely taking a walloping down there. And the 5th Fleet headquarters is as well, which is our headquarters for the U.S. Navy's 5th Fleet. We've heard that the Qatar has been engaged, and they've shot down incoming Iranian missiles. Apparently, Abu Dhabi has shot down a lot of missiles, but they've also taken a couple of hits. Riyadh's been hit. And we're also hearing that Amman, Jordan has taken a couple of hits, along with apparently some explosions being reported in Kuwait. And there are tons of missiles that we've seen in the air being launched right from the Iranian-Iraq border and towards multiple states throughout the Middle East. So right now, it is missile hell out here in the Middle East right now. The U.S. is firing every missile that we can. Israel's firing every missile that they can. And also, the Iranians are firing every missile that they have back in turn. I mean, there's so many missiles in the air, and it's not in really a concentrated bulk. It's actually proving a little bit difficult for the U.S. to kind of track down and shoot down all of them. So, that's a bit of an issue. But I do have to point out that all of our Gulf state allies in the area, which would be Kuwait, Saudi Arabia, Jordan, which isn't really a Gulf state ally, Bahrain, Qatar, the UAE, and also Oman, except for Bahrain, they all have fairly competent air defenses, so as long as they put them on high alert and have them on the watch, they should be able to shoot down most of the stuff. I think a lot of them were taken off guard at this point. But it does appear clear at this point. The Iranians are trying to give their last gasp. This might not last long, especially if U.S. and Israeli airstrikes keep up at this sort of a tempo that we've heard of right now. They're probably going to get a slamming, and this is probably going to be done within, I would assume, probably at the earliest a couple of weeks or maybe a couple of months. But with
that seems like that's a long time for me, man. I want this done in a couple nights at least.
How they're going right now, they can't keep this up much longer. The Iranians, at least, with this many government officials being swatted out within the first couple of hours, if that keeps up for days, they're not going to be around much longer. And also, we know that the Iranian people don't like him either. So, I mean, they're basically fighting a two-front war against us and their own people. So this isn't going to turn out well for them.
Yeah, so I from some people's point of view, like the Iran regime is just like they're barely hanging on by a thread, and they shouldn't last long. And the people are ready to go and just take them the fuck out. So I would hope it'd be as fast as possible. That's the best scenario. Is it's just like boom, 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 done. They bring in that Reza guy, the fucking prince. I don't know. Let's just hope for the best, man. That's all we can do here. Let's go through some of these bookmarks. Amazing. Iranians are playing music and dancing in the streets. This always feels like propaganda to me, but This does happen because there are a lot of Iranians who they want to see the regime go down. They should really go inside, though. Not a good idea to be outside. Not a good idea to be outside right now. Confirmed strikes on UAE. I guess more footage of another place being bombed. UAE, United Arab Emirates. Everyone inside Iran is celebrating the war against the regime. They effed you in the mouth, you bastards. Good riddance. Thank you, President Trump. Yeah, this is Iran. Yeah, so she's clearly not for the regime. You got to remember, even though, like, in hindsight, most Americans are like, yeah, we should have never went to Iraq. There are going to be types in Iran that are going to be very happy about this. And I mean, I still know Iraqis to this day who still, a lot of them are here in America who just, they completely supported the Iraq war. They still think it was like the greatest thing ever, They hated Saddam. And they had the reasons to hate Saddam. So yeah, of course there's going to be Iranians who support this, but I had an Iranian viewer who was upset that I didn't support regime change in Iran, and I'm like, dude, we just have so many problems here in America. Like, these regime changes never go well. We're bankrupting our country, funding all this bullshit, and like, last thing we need is another. Maybe we can fix our problems first. And he was like, yeah, actually, I understand that. So that was pretty cool. But yeah, there are a lot of Iranians who are going to be happy about this. So let's hope, for the sake of them and the sake of our troops and everybody, that this is clean and easy and just over with as quick as possible. What's this one? Aftermath of U.S.-Israel strikes in Tehran.
دیدی به دست ما رسیده از تجاوز هوایی آمریکا و رژیم صهیونیستی به تهران و شهر کشور که در قاب شبکه خبر این تصاویر رو مشاهده می‌کنید. بر اساس اعلام منابع خبری علاوه بر تهران ساعتی قبل صدای چند انفجار در برخی
Where, I mean, this is in Iran, but where specifically? This is Trump from 2013. I thought this would be fun to keep in here. Remember that I predicted a long time ago that President Obama will attack Iran because of his inability to negotiate properly. Not skilled. Well, Trump, I guess you're not skilled, buddy.
شهرها از جمله اصفهان، قم، برخی مناطق استان لرستان، کرمانشاه، کرج و تبریز هم شنیده شده. شما آخرین تصاویری که به دست ما رسیده رو از قاب شبکه خبر مشاهده می‌کنید. وزیر جنگ رژیم صهیونیستی حمله به ایران رو تایید کرد و همزمان برخی منابع و رسانه‌های خارجی از جمله شبکه CNN از حمله مشترک آمریکا و رژیم صهیونیستی خبر.
Anybody speak whatever language that is? Holy crap, insane video coming out of U.S. Tomahawk missiles flying through Tehran. It goes so fast, it's like hard to see it, but yeah, it's a Tomahawk missile. Yeah. Things are getting serious when that MFer flies over your head. Breaking, these are a little bit, I saved these earlier, and then other things were coming up, so I forgot to get to them. Breaking Bolshir now.
Voy.
Yeah. This is in Iran.
یا امام حسین شهر موشکی جمع زیدن شهر موشکی یا خدا یا خدا
Yep. I don't know what's going on with Milo, but he says, "Oh Allah, preserve Ayatollah Khomeini. Oh Allah, indeed we place you in their throats, and we seek refuge in you from their evils." Milo is really crashing out, and I think he's really good at attacking people. But why he's so good at attacking people is because he's fucking insane and miserable. And yeah, I worry about Milo. I don't know what's going on there. I'm not for. I would never have made this decision. I'm not for this. I'm not going to root for fucking Iran, bro. All right, the war's on. We're Americans. We root for our fucking country, and we hope it goes quick and easy. And then later on, we can bitch and complain about why the fuck we did this and it was stupid. But unfortunately, I don't control the levers of this shit. But I do want the best result for our country and for the people of Iran. Iran just attacked the U.S. Navy's naval support activity. Bahrain, yeah, we saw this one earlier. You want to watch Netanyahu? Let's get to this other one first. Explosions in the Konarak Air and Naval Forces barracks. They are so intense that all buildings are shaking. So yeah, I think this is the aftermath of it. This is Khomeini's residence in Tehran destroyed. Apparently he's still alive, according to that the enforcer guy. Yeah, that's a big bomb. That's a big bomb. Here's a message. This is the what's it print? The fucking Reza Pahlavi. Did he change? Yeah, he changed this shit because it used to. I looked at it earlier. It was like exiled prince of Iran or some shit like that. I think this is the guy they want to come in and take over once the regime falls. Let's get. We'll watch these, but let's get through some of this footage. Boy. Breaking: the U.S. and Israel have blown up the office of the supreme leader of Iran. Yeah, these women seem happy about it. Boy. Boy. Yeah, they don't seem upset at all. They seem ecstatic. They seem overjoyed. I'm guessing the women probably are the ones that hate the regime the most. For good reason, I'm sure. All right, so we caught up with those. Let's see what I know you guys are not going to like this, but hey, it's war. We got to hear what this guy has to say. Let's see what his message is. This is from everybody's favorite Prime Minister of We all know you love him, okay? Don't pretend like you don't. I'm just kidding. I know everybody hates Netanyahu, and he's we're going to not hear the end of like, oh, Israel's wars and Israel's dragging us into more wars. And it's like, yeah, sure feels that way, doesn't it? But yeah, let's hear what he's got to say. Oh, is it all in another language? Yeah, sorry. I don't speak Israeli. Okay, sorry. Yeah. Where's the other one? The fucking Reza. Yeah, I think his is in another language, but at least he put it in English. The aid that the President of the United States promised to the brave people of Iran has now arrived. This is a humanitarian intervention, and its target is the Islamic Republic, its repressive apparatus, and its machinery of slaughter, not the country and the great nation of Iran. But even with the arrival of this aid, the final victory will still be forged by our hands. It is we, the people of Iran, who will finish the job in this final battle. The time to return to the streets is near. Now that the Islamic Republic is collapsing, my message to the country's military, police, and security forces is clear. You have sworn an oath to protect Iran and the Iranian people, not the Islamic Republic and its leaders. Essentially, yeah, it's a call for revolution to the people. It's a long message. I mean, I don't want to bore you guys reading the whole thing, but yeah, it's like, rise up. Now's your time. Now's your time. And yeah, even Trump's speech, he said he'd give immunity to all the members of the regime if they were just lay down their arms and turn their guns on the Khomeinis. Yeah, let's see. There's so many hopes for how this will go, but it's day one, and we just don't know, dude. We don't know.
Sure that the audio is connected right. Matthew, can you hear me really quickly? Sorry about this, folks. We're having some technical difficulties at the moment. I would agree. That's definitely going to be unrealistic. But I also want to make sure, folks, that
dozens, yeah. So I guess I haven't seen. I don't know how long the missiles take, but I've been hearing missiles heading, and but we haven't seen. We haven't seen much. Let's see what NBC News is saying.
Can now threaten our very good friends and allies in Europe, our troops stationed overseas, and could soon reach the American.
We watched that already. What's this one? I gotta refresh this one. Looks like it's frozen on me. Oh yeah, I think this was the Fox News report on it. Yeah. Just close it. I think I got it. Oh, did I save it? I don't know. All right, let's listen to the enforcer. I'll see what else we can find
that are
real quick.
larger than a $10 super chat, and then we're going to have to cut it off there and then get to everyone else's on the next following days when we get the chance. We will read all of them off, though, and we do thank everyone massively for the support, but I hope that everyone does understand that.
Yeah, this is reading super chats. Oh, here we go.
We join you right now with breaking news from the Middle East. Israel has launched preemptive airstrikes against the Islamic Republic of Iran, going after a variety of positions inside the country. Israel's Defense Minister Israel Katz declaring a special state of emergency across the country. Just moments ago, air raid sirens were sounding here in Israel's second largest city of Tel Aviv and across major population centers here in the Middle East, warning civilians to stay close to protected areas, to bomb shelters, understanding that in the minute.
Sorry, I forgot to pull this one over.
Jennifer.
John, I've just received a list of some of the early targets that have been attacked inside Iran. Let me read to you from that. There have been attacks on the Iranian parliament, the National Supreme Council, the Ministry of Intelligence, the Iranian Atomic Energy Agency, and also cyber attacks on news agencies such as IRNA. So this is very significant.
Jennifer.
John, I've just received.
See, it looks like we're just taking everything out. Everything to do with the regime. Let's get away from it, dude. If you're near a fucking government building in Iran, get the fuck away from it, dude. Crazy.
Minutes and hours ahead, Israel may come under direct Iranian attack. We are getting a new statement from Israel's Defense Minister Israel Katz. He says, in part, the state of Israel has launched a preemptive strike against Iran. Defense Minister Israel Katz declares a special and immediate state of emergency across the entire country. The state of Israel has launched a preemptive strike against Iran to remove threats to the state of Israel. As a result, a missile and UAV drone attack is expected against the state of Israel and its civilian population in the immediate time frame. Remember, there has been an ongoing U.S. military buildup across the region for the past 2 months. The world's largest aircraft carrier, the USS Gerald R. Ford, is now just off the coast of Israel, near to the northern city of Haifa. You have the USS Abraham Lincoln Carrier Strike Group in the Arabian Sea, a variety of U.S. destroyers in locations across the region, and of course U.S. fighter jets not only here in Israel but also in places like Jordan. You heard just last night President Trump talking about what he prefers, a peaceful and diplomatic path that was offered to the Iranians, understanding, though, that they have been incredibly difficult in the past to reach agreements with. And while the president sent his negotiators to the region, to Oman, and then ultimately to Geneva, Switzerland over the past month, both U.S. Special Envoy Steve Witkoff and his son-in-law Jared Kushner, ultimately the coordination was happening at the highest level, we understand, between the Americans and the Israelis if a decision was made to launch such a strike. And so we are waiting to get additional information from Israeli and American sources to determine what exactly has taken place. But I'm going to give you all of the updates that we are getting in right now as we receive them. We understand, according to the transportation minister of Israel that Israel has now closed its airspace to civilian flights. Again, this is a precaution, understanding that the Israelis now are bracing for a variety of incoming possible ballistic missile and UAV attacks against their country. Remember, we were reporting here live during the 12-day war last June as the Israelis and the Iranians exchanged blows. And the Iranians have the ability to launch ballistic missiles. They take about 12 minutes to get to Israel, and they can cause significant damage to major population centers here. We also know that Israel has a variety of air defense systems at its ability, and some of those include the short-range systems, the Iron Dome system, the Arrow system, and also David's Sling. You also have Patriot missile defense systems and THAAD systems provided by the Americans that were deployed here in preparation for the possibility that a decision was made to strike Iran, understanding that there will be a response, as we saw over not just during the 12-day war, but also when the Israelis and the Iranians in 2024 exchanged blows 2 separate times in the spring of that year and also in October of that year. Again, if you are just joining us right now, we are reporting live from the Middle East, where Israel has made a decision to launch preemptive airstrikes against Iran amid the backdrop of a massive U.S. military buildup across the region.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just going through footage. This American sailor records the Iranian strike in Bahrain.
Bro. Oh, shit! Oh, fuck! Oh, shit! Oh!
That's never fun, huh?
Oh, shit! Oh, fuck! Oh, my God! Oh, dude, fuck me. A fucking missile actually got through. Oh, there's more. I gotta get the fuck out of here.
Yeah, well.
Bro.
We got the Iran war you guys wanted so bad. This is one where they can shoot back. Breaking Iranians are chanting death to Khamenei from their balconies. Another, I mean, again, feels like propaganda. Well, I'm with you. Iranian missiles struck Galilee. Crazy. Alrighty. Well, let's see what NBC News is saying real quick.
Naval assets, including Tomahawk missiles. Those are very
targeted,
longer
What's going on
range
with this
missiles
shit? We're gonna
give a little bit of
we're gonna win this war.
distance,
Yeah, of course we're gonna win.
For the United States military, for those Navy assets, that means that they can fire them from a little bit further away. Gives them a little bit more time if Iran were to retaliate directly from the source of those Tomahawks. But Peter, we still don't have a really good sense of exactly what the United States has hit so far, and exactly whether this is the first wave and when, if this is going to be like continuing for hours and hours and hours, if we're going to see waves over days. These are the kinds of questions we're still asking. And then very, very critically, we have already begun to see retaliation from Iran. So far, we've heard from at least 5 different nations in the region saying that they have intercepted or shot down incoming Iranian ballistic missiles.
They're just blasting like crazy, bro.
The United Arab Emirates, Bahrain, it includes Qatar and Kuwait. Now, one thing, not only that those countries have in common, of course, that they're right there in the region close to Iran, but they all are home to U.S. military forces and in some cases U.S. military bases. We know that Al Udeid Air Base in Qatar, that is the U.S.'s largest air base in the region, about 10,000 men and women there at any given time. The majority of those people were taken off the base in recent hours. We've seen that happen before. That is generally done because of concerns about a potential base there, or excuse me, a potential attack there. We have seen Iran attack Al Udeid before. They did so after Operation Midnight Hammer back in June. So again, the questions that we still have out there are not only what did the United States hit, but we know that some of the retaliation has already been intercepted, but have any of those missiles actually been successful in striking U.S. military bases, U.S. military installations in the region? At least one missile appears to have gotten through in Bahrain. That is where the headquarters of the U.S. Navy in the region is, U.S. Fifth Fleet. It is an enormous installation there with thousands of U.S. military personnel, and very critically, that is one of the rare accompanied tours for the U.S. military in the region. That means the men and women.
Bro. Breaking, several massive explosions were heard in Riyadh, the capital of Saudi Arabia. A lot of countries involved already. I'm guessing this is Iran striking, and I'm guessing this is accurate. This is Visegrad 24. They're usually pretty accurate. Let's see what else we can find. I mean, wow.
Women who are assigned there are allowed to bring their families. They often live very close to the base. Again, we're working to see about any kind of battle damage assessment about damage to the installations, but also any potential casualties here, Peter.
Courtney, I want you to stay with us for a second as we have this conversation. Again, looking at some of the images we're getting from that region right now. One thing that was striking in the president's remarks in that pre-recorded.
Breaking, the Islamic regime in Iran has fired ballistic missiles on all Gulf states apart from Oman. Wow. Yeah, so they're just blasting at everybody. That seems kind of desperate, right? Kind of dumb, so now you just turned them all into enemies.
A statement earlier is that he said about American forces, Americans in that region. He said,
some people were saying Khomeini might finally be dead, but no one's confirmed that.
Quote, we may have casualties, which is notable. He said that, in his words, often happens in war, acknowledging that this is war that the U.S. is now mired in right now, acknowledging the potential risk to Americans in that region. I want to get a better understanding of what our forces are throughout that area. We have witnessed and been reporting over the course of the last several months the buildup there, the Abraham Lincoln Carrier Strike Group, among others. How broad is the U.S. force presence in that region? And can you give us a sense of, it appears clear this is going to go on for quite some time. What potential exists for the U.S. to sustain an operation like this?
So what's really critical about what the U.S. has brought into the region, there were already about 35 to 40,000 men and women in the region before all this buildup began. But it's not really just about the numbers of what the U.S. has brought in. It's really the capabilities. So advanced air defenses and advanced air systems like the F-22 fighter. The U.S. brought in about a dozen of those to a base known as Uvda in southern Israel. Those have the ability to do air defense suppression, so they can stop Iranian air defenses that would be able to potentially shoot down aircraft that are moving in to conduct airstrikes. That's really important. It basically creates a clearer path for.
Breaking, Israel's been hit. Again, I can't verify the. Grok says this is real, but Grok's wrong all the time about real-time shit. Doesn't say where in Israel. Iranian impact in Haifa, Israel. Yeah, I don't have a feed of Haifa. I have Tel Aviv and Jerusalem. Those seem quiet. Look, more Iranians that are happy. Zada. I guess Zada is something they do when they cheer. Zada. Yeah. I don't know. This shit feels like propaganda. Breaking, according to Axios, the IDF carried out strikes targeting senior Iranian military and political regime leaders, including Ali Khamenei and President Mossad Pezeshkian. Reuters reported that several senior IRGC commanders and political officials were killed in joint U.S.-Israel strikes. Boy, oh boy, this feels like it's going to get interesting, you know? It really feels like it's going to get interesting.
Manned fighters to move in and conduct airstrikes. The U.S. has brought in F-35s on the USS Gerald R. Ford. That's now in the Eastern Med. Again, an advanced stealth fighter. But also critically, I mean, look, logistics wins wars, right? So they have brought in dozens of tankers, cargo aircraft, the kinds of things that you need for a potentially sustained air campaign. Because it's not just about getting those fighter aircraft in. It's also about keeping them in the air with simple things like giving them the fuel that they're going to need. They've also brought in additional munitions. We know that the ships there have extensive air defense systems. We know that the
Fox's Jen Griffin, the strikes have been targeted. The strikes have targeted Iran's supreme leader. His compound was targeted in the early hours. Maybe it was the first strike. That is symbolic. That is significant. All right, let's see what they say.
The strikes are targeting Iran's leadership, including the supreme leader, Ayatollah Ali Khamenei, who Lucas Tomlinson was reporting took power over 37 years ago. He took over in 1989. He's the longest serving leader in the Middle East. And his compound was targeted in the early hours, in maybe even the first strike that took place. That is symbolic and that is significant. And you heard the president appeal to the Iranian people, saying that this moment is a moment in history that you should seize. After the bombing stops, he appealed to them to rise up, and he said, the hour of your freedom is now. He said, stay in your house until we are finished, but this is the moment that you can take over your government and seize power. That is significant because we weren't sure that this was going to be a regime change operation, but it's very clear from the initial set of targets that that is exactly what it is.
Yeah, no, absolutely is. Absolutely, it's regime change at this point. I mean, it was very clear in Trump's message. The goal is to take down the regime. Mr. James in Bloggington says, Pink Trip, the YouTube channel The Atheist Republic, which is hosted by a secular Iranian, will have a huge smile on his face. Yeah, I've spoken to many Iranians. Well, not many, but you know, I've been very vocal against a regime change in Iran, and I've heard from Iranians who are like, man, that disappoints me because we really want this. And I'm like, what do you want? What do you mean? You want us to attack your country? But yeah, a lot of Iranians are going to be super happy about this. And I hope that this is a quick and easy transition. The regime falls quickly and the people can take over in a peaceful manner, and it doesn't become mob rule and a bunch of fighting in the streets. It doesn't break into civil war. And like, let's hope for the best, man. Let's really hope for the best. Even though I would never be for this, I don't agree with this, I'm still going to hope for a quick resolution that works for everybody. But right now it looks like Iran is just shooting missiles off at everybody in the world.
The President of the United States, Donald Trump, has made clear this is part of a new operation, he says, focused on devastating the country's military, eliminating its nuclear program, and ultimately the president indicates an opportunity for the people of Iran to try to overtake the existing regime in that country. We are hearing now from some of the president's allies, even at this early hour. The Republican Senator Lindsey Graham, one of those closest to Donald Trump, who has been very hawkish in his desires to target Iran for many years, posting a short time ago, as I watch and monitor this historic operation, I'm in awe of President Trump's determination to be a man of peace. But at the end of the day, evil's worst nightmare. He goes on to say, well done, Mr. President. The political debate
what a man of peace,
right
Lindsey
now.
Graham.
We want to focus on
Lindsey
the
Graham, man of
specifics
peace
on the ground. That includes the reporting of our colleague, NBC's chief foreign correspondent, Richard Engel, who joins us now from Tel Aviv. Richard, not long ago, you were in Tehran there as that country, that region, frankly, has been on edge for weeks and months right now. Give us a better understanding of what you're hearing. We know there is, in effect, an internet blackout, which makes it very difficult to get specific answers to questions in terms of what was targeted and what the targets will be going forward. But what more are we learning as we speak?
So the internet blackout in Iran is not total at this stage. I have managed to speak to some people in Iran, civilians, and a government official. I spoke to a government official, or exchanged a message, I should say, with a government official just a short while ago, and he described this as now war, open war. I asked about strikes against targets in multiple locations all across Iran to a regional conflict because, according to the Iranian Revolutionary Guard, Iran fired back in retaliation with simultaneous missile attacks against those same countries that that Courtney just listed: Qatar, Kuwait, Bahrain, the United Arab Emirates.
Yeah, you're getting. Sounds like some sort of warnings going on over there. This one doesn't really have sound, I don't think. Yeah, no sound on the... Oh, I'm not playing it. Let's play it. Fuck. Yeah, no sirens going off in Jerusalem right now. Yeah, and it says breaking Iranian missiles are striking Jordan and Saudi Arabia. What kind of missiles are these? I mean, the few strikes I saw, they look like pretty huge, man. Yeah, so they're just, it's like Iran's trying to start a world war, like everybody against Iran. Wild
conflict from the Mediterranean Sea all the way to India. Because let's not forget that Afghanistan and Pakistan just announced an open war against each other. So we have a zone of chaos, a zone of conflict covering a large part of the world. And when you listen to what President Trump said his objectives are, and Prime Minister Netanyahu of Israel also put out a statement calling on the Iranian people to rise up, describing this as a long-term campaign.
Oh, yeah, that's right. I forgot. Yeah, I want to see the message from BB's message was in fucking. Let's see. See if we got something in English. I want to see what BB has to say. I guess it's not even worth him giving a message in English, even though we're fighting the war with them. And we're doing their fucking job. We're doing what they want to do. I mean, basically, it's a gift to Israel. And he can't even put the message in English. My brothers and sisters, citizens of Israel, just an hour ago, Israel and the United States embarked on an operation to remove the existential threat posed by the terrorist regime in Iran. I thank our great friend, President Donald Trump, for his historic leadership. Yeah, so blah, blah, blah. Iran's terrible. The time has come for all parts of the Iranian people, the Persians, Kurds, Azeris, Balak, and Awazis, to cast off the yoke of tyranny and bring freedom and peace-loving values to Iran. Alrighty, yeah, World War III's trending. That's a good sign, huh? Don't you like that? Don't you love it? Just love it when World War III is trending at 4:30 in the morning? Central Time? That's what I love. I love a Saturday morning when World War III trends. That's what I love.
A devastating campaign. President Trump and Israel's objective has been made quite clear. They want to bomb Iran from afar with as much force as necessary to weaken the government to a point where the Iranian people rise up and overthrow the government. That is very risky. It is not clear at all that it will be successful because Courtney described all of the military assets that have been brought in, all the naval power, all the air power. But what has not been brought in this time are tanks. What has not been brought in are ground troops. This is the biggest military buildup since 2003 when the U.S. invaded Iraq. But when that happened, the U.S. brought in an invasion force to take over Iraq, oversee the transition to a new government, an occupation government, and then ultimately a new Iraqi government under U.S. supervision. This time, a totally different strategy. The strategy is to pound Iran so hard to take away its proxies, which are spread out all across the region, to take away its missile program, to eliminate its navy, to disarm Iran, to declaw Iran to a point where the Iranian people can rise up and finish the job. That is a very unpredictable scenario. It is not clear that the Iranian people have that ability to rise up and take on a government, even one that is in this process right now of being dismantled from the air and sea.
Well, we'll see what else I can find. And yeah, I can't be here all night. Can't be here all night. How you guys feeling? You feeling good about this? Fuck it, let's do it live. Yeah, you're welcome, Casey. Jethro, dumbass wants boots on the ground. Who wants boots on the ground? I mean, at this point, the best case scenario is the regime falls really quickly and we don't need to do anything else. And the Iranian people take it over and we're out of there. Cause yeah. I mean, if it goes bad, eventually, obviously, boots are going to end up on the ground. If this just keeps dragging and dragging and dragging, and yeah, let's just hope. I mean, look, if you're a religious person, pray that this goes quick and easy, right? False flag, big mistake, gay, love it. I hope no Americans are hurt. Yeah, me too, Akuma. But I mean, that base was already hit with a pretty big bomb. I mean, there could be Americans that were that could have been killed, and I don't know. We got, I mean, Saudi Arabia, Jordan. I mean, like they're hitting all the Gulf states. I think the only Gulf state they haven't hit is Oman. Oman, however the fuck you say it. You know, I'm not an expert in all this shit. I'm loaded up on chocolate-covered cherries. I just ate a bunch of shrimp. That's what I had, a bunch of fried shrimp. Who takes over? The Rizza said no dice. Yeah, I don't know, Skank Hunt. That's a good question. We're going to have to see. Yeah, shout out for the impromptu end of the world stream. You're welcome, MAKO TV. You're welcome, buddy. Hope you're doing good. I swear, they hurt one American. Yeah, I mean, we saw the footage earlier, man. That was a pretty big bomb on that Navy base. Let me see what else we got here. President Trump, somebody says, President Trump is always right. Stop being a panicking. Okay, yep. Alrighty. Alrighty. Yeah, Switzerland is not happy with this. Switzerland's MFA issued a statement saying that they are deeply alarmed by the United States and Israel against Iran and calls for the full respect of international law, including the UN Charter and IHL. Yeah, I'm trying to, a lot of people supporting President Trump. I mean, this is something about a war. I don't know if there's some political angle to this with Trump, where he thinks this is going to be good for him politically. I don't know. I mean, if it goes like like Venezuela. But that was such a once in a lifetime perfect fucking event. I don't think he'll be able to pull that off with Iran. Iran's going to be a quagmire. I hope not, though. Let's hope not. So yeah, I'm looking to see if there's any more footage, but so far I'm not seeing anything else that we haven't seen already. Let me just give it one more quick little look over. Again, World War III is trending. That's lovely. Israel is currently striking Iran's capital. Let's see. Are these new ones? Yeah, well, we'll see. Let's see. These might be some ones we've seen already. Let's check this out. Israel is currently striking Iran's capital of Tehran. World War III. Yeah. I think we've probably seen this one already. This is in Tehran. Just different angles of an area that got hit with a missile. Another one. And another one, a photo. Yeah. All right, boys. Yeah. I think I'm going to get some sleep, and hopefully I'll wake up tomorrow, and everything won't be on fire. And yeah. That's the hope. Let's see. Let's check in. Let's see what the latest is with NBC News.
There are those reports that missiles have struck or that there have been explosions. The difficulty here is that those explosions can be the air defenses, Patriot, for example, Patriot air defenses protecting these bases, or it can be contact, and we don't know right now. The Qataris, just to that point, are saying now that this is
the way NBC News does it. They just, whatever the best footage of a missile strike is, just play that on repeat the whole time.
And this is their words, successfully thwarted a number of attacks targeting the country's territory. And then just to Kuwait, they are talking about ongoing efforts to protect the airspace of the state of Kuwait. And I just want Peter to get to some of these statements from these countries where I am. And they go to the point that Richard Engel was making about the potential for escalation with all of this. So the UAE Ministry of Defense, for example, says such acts constitute a dangerous escalation and cowardly act that threatens the security and safety of civilians and undermines stability, and a blatant violation of national sovereignty and international law, the Defense Ministry here says. And then it goes on to say the state reserves the full right to respond to this escalation and take all necessary measures to protect its territory, its people and its residents. So there you have, and we also have a similar message from Bahrain. There you have these Gulf countries saying that they reserve the right to respond to these attacks by the Iranians. I'll just tell you one other point, Peter. There have been some reports around of possible explosions in Riyadh, the capital of Saudi Arabia. I have contacted someone there. They say they haven't heard anything.
Bro, it's so dumb.
So it may be that
why are you, if you're Iran, you got enough problems. You're going to attack every country around you. Now you got 10 more countries that want to come and bomb you to get revenge. The fuck are they doing? It sounds like they've lost their minds and they're just shooting missiles randomly. You know, it's like they got a machine gun and they're dying and they're just going and everybody around them as they die.
And try to make things so difficult for the Trump administration that it backs down, and for the Israelis. And that goes to your point about the Strait of Hormuz. We haven't heard yet whether the Iranians have attempted to block that strait. But again, that would have a material impact potentially, you've got to think, on oil prices. And I suspect that's why President Trump said in his statement, I think he used the words, I can't remember the word he used exactly, but he's talked about heavily targeting the Iranian Navy. And I suspect part of that is about attempting to get ahead of attempts to block the Strait of Hormuz.
Continue to do your reporting. We appreciate your joining us at this early hour here on the East Coast. I want to share some reporting again as you're waking up with NBC News special coverage of the U.S. and Israeli strikes on Iran, and now some of the response from Iran beginning to take place as well. We're hearing from my colleagues, Courtney Kuby, Gordon Lubold, two of our national security leading reporters, telling us so far in the military operation in Iran, Israel targeted Iranian leaders, while the United States targeted Iran's ballistic missile and nuclear programs. That reporting comes from two U.S. officials. Again, to be very clear, this is a coordinated effort by the United States and Israel, and it is now our reporting that the Israelis focused their targets on Iranian leadership, while the U.S. targeted Iran's ballistic missile and nuclear programs there. That's notable because you'll remember in June of 2025,
a little eerie when it's looking at the sky, right?
B-2 bombers, among others,
is there missiles coming in?
Focusing Operation Midnight Hammer on the nuclear program that exists within Iran. I want to get back to Richard Engel, our chief foreign
the Strait of
correspondent.
Bermuth or whatever, bro. Someone said it's going to collapse the oil economy. Yeah, this could be bad for the economy. If that Strait of Bermuth gets fucking shut down, or the Strait of Hormuz or whatever the fuck it's called. Sorry, the Hormuz or whatever. You know what I'm talking about? That big fucking shipping trading lane that if it gets shut down.
Talking to Kier, there was another report, this time from Reuters, that an American military base in Iraq was also targeted in northern Iraq in the Kurdish areas. But before we get to that, you could
another base
hear
hit
right now that the air raid sirens are once again in action here in Tel Aviv. We will see if there are any interceptions, any impacts. This is
Tel Aviv.
Third or fourth time this morning that we have.
That's the other sound. See, that's Tel Aviv. I don't hear the sound.
First The way this works is first you get an alert on your phone telling you that something is
So might be
incoming, giving
behind
you
a little bit.
through up toward incoming fire. I have not heard them explode. Generally, when there are interceptions,
It's hard
you
to see
hear
daytime, that shit in the sky.
explosion of the impact, because these interceptor missiles are quite large. So what the Israelis are doing is they are firing
Here,
missiles
right?
at missiles with the intention of destroying them in midair. They are very effective, and they are very effective, and there you just heard right now the explosion of one of those interceptors. Often a danger is that the debris, because these missiles are blown up in midair, so there's the danger, obviously, of them impacting the ground, hurting, killing people.
I don't know, dude.
But then there is also
Hormuz,
the
right?
danger of the
Hormuz or something.
both the
Hormuz.
missile
Yeah, I'm not
and
a
the
fucking
interceptor
expert in
itself,
this shit, dude.
landing in the city.
So please don't mistake me
Those two interceptions taking
as an
place
expert.
right over.
But I know there's a shipping lane that Iran shuts down, and it's going to fucking cause a huge problem if it remains shut down for long periods of time.
The built-up area of Tel Aviv, right in the center of the city.
Testing.
Hearing what sounds like the second interception. They took place.
Hormuz, yeah, straight up
at,
Hormuz.
at very high
Hormuz,
altitude.
however you say it.
That's why that explains the delay.
Why do people keep saying no sound? There's sound. There should be sound. Yeah, so that's the thing about daytime. You don't really see it. There's two missiles over here. You could barely even see them.
Strike against Iran, and by all indications, we are very much in the early phases of this, Peter. With
Sound good? Good.
Iran
Okay. Thank you, Stephanie.
By attacking U.S. military installations all across the region.
And Richard, as we listen to your live reporting there again on the ground in Tel Aviv, Israel right now, it's striking. Obviously, this is the early stages of an operation that the U.S.
What about the Strait of George?
Israelis have made clear it is going to be sustained for quite some time. But in many ways, this does appear to be that type of regional conflict that many had feared for quite some time, where you're hearing from Bahrain that they are intercepting missiles targeting their country, perhaps U.S. bases there. We're hearing from Iraq
This
right
sucks,
now that
to be
an American
honest.
military base there has been targeted. You're hearing the Israelis putting up interceptors. Iran is seeing a series of strikes, obviously, as they were the predicate for all of this, the United States and Israel targeting them. It raises the question, which is, how does this end? And while it's so early, clearly this does produce a situation where there's a sense of this sort of circular firing squad, where there are different rockets and missiles going in all different directions right now. The president's intention is that this ends with regime change in Iran. But Richard, you were in Iran not long ago. That is a very, very risky endeavor.
It is a risky endeavor. It is also very difficult to accomplish without boots on the ground. And President Trump's objective, Israeli Prime Minister Netanyahu's objective, is to topple the regime.
A lot of people are not happy about this, man. I'm seeing a lot of, the ex-Trump supporters who, the Hodge twins. They're calling out Trump. Trump really listened to Lindsey Graham and Benjamin Netanyahu over the American people. Shaking my head. What the hell are we doing, man? Sam Tripoli's not happy about this either. There's a lot of accounts with no profile pics who are really excited about the Israel attack. Sam Tripoli's obviously not for this. Razor Fist is absolutely for this. I noticed Razor Fist, he supports this. There's people reposting Charlie Kirk from June 17th, 2025. This is insane. Regime change will result in a bloody civil war. Killing hundreds of thousands and creating another massive Muslim refugee crisis. Toppling a leader is never as easy as you think. It almost always results in further involvement, a civil war, and chaos. Resist this. That's Charlie Kirk from June of last year. And yes, this is why all of us are against it, because we've seen it play out. It's always ugly, and it's never worth it in the long run. And yeah. I mean, it's one thing if Iran wants to rise up, and I know it's hard because they have a very strict regime and they're killing protesters and et cetera, but if they want to have a revolution, go for it. But I don't know. It's just so many of us lived through the Iraq war. We lived through the Afghanistan war. We lived through all of the regime changes that we did, and they all became disasters. Can you name one that worked out really well? I can't. And again, you can talk to a lot of Iraqis who are like, that was the greatest thing ever. Thank you so much. I love America. They saved us from, but it's just, at the end of the day, I mean, for me, it wasn't worth it. And, yeah, that's my fear. This is going to spiral into another situation that drags on for fucking ever. And a lot of Americans die and we become even further in debt. But let's hope that's not what happens. Let's hope it's quick, it's easy, and everything goes right for the first time ever, right? Let's hope that's what happens. We'll see. We'll see. What do you guys think? Hopefully you guys are hopeful. Poll by Kirk had 90% saying, yeah, no, nobody was for it, dude. Nobody's for it. That's what I'm saying. This is not popular. There are people for it, but they're the minority. They really are. The mass majority of Americans, we're done with this type of shit. Venezuela, it was quick and easy, and we're like, okay, I guess we went in, did one. It was like when we went in and got Osama, it's like we went in and did our job and got out of there real quick, boom, done. So we didn't really care much about that, and that was kind of impressive, to be honest. But this is a different situation, and the potential for this to turn out really bad for everybody involved is there, and it's a high risk situation pulling something like this off. So again, let's pray that this is a quick, easy solution. The regime falls quick, and there's no civil war in Iran, and there's an easy transition to a new government, and we all live kumbaya. But yeah, reality says that's highly unlikely. History says that's highly unlikely. So, good job, Trump. No, the no wars guy. Well, you can throw that out the window. The peace president, yeah, throw that out the window. But whatever, if this does go perfect and it's a quick, easy win, there'll be probably a lot of people that aren't going to be that upset about it. Some people still will be, but if he can win, he can pull it off quick, then, people will forget about it. We'll move on to the next thing. So let's hope that's what it is. All right, everybody. Yeah, I'm going to get some sleep because who knows how long this shit's going to go on. I mean, I could be here just searching all night, and I'm going to get some sleep. I'm going to hope I don't get hit by any missiles in my sleep. And when I wake up, I hope World War III is not kicked off. So thank you, everybody. Have a great night. Links are in the description, all that good stuff. Follow, support. I'll see you. I'll be here. I'll be back tomorrow night. Maybe even early. If there's a lot of war news, I might jump on. I might just pop in like I did now to talk about whatever's going on if the news gets crazy. So look out for that. Turn on notifications, even though those don't work. You can follow me on Discord as well if you want notifications. Much love. Have a wonderful night, everybody. We'll see ya. Take care, okay?
Please subscribe and hit the like and ring that bell if you want notified. Here's some other videos to watch that you might like or you might not. Have a great day, my internet friend. I hope I'll see you once again. Please subscribe and hit the like and ring that bell if you want notified.
You're welcome, brother. Have a good night.
Have a great day, my internet friend. I hope I'll see you once again. Please subscribe and hit the like and ring that bell if you want notification.